Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Thursday, November 13th. Better than Friday the 13th, right? What are we going to be talking about today? Today, we're going to talk about stop reacting and start responding. Sounds simple enough, right? But are you doing that or not? Stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric. If you didn't already know it, yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Thursday, the 13th of November, 2025. So, what do I mean by stop reacting and start responding? Well, I can tell you that most of my young adult life, maybe up until I was 60, no, in my younger years, maybe it's an age thing, but I spent most of my time reacting instead of responding. And what do I mean? I mean, I would be going right along until something caused me to react to something. And it could be, pissed off, upset, this. And once you react, what does it do? It kind of screws you all up because now you've lost your focus. You're off in left field. You're not sure which way to go. And in the end, it's not going to help you, is it? So, what's the better way? The better way is to just. I'm not saying that you're like a zombie where you're dead and you don't react to things, because I still do. Certain things will get a reaction out of me. Parents with kids will get a reaction out of you. But what I learned years ago was, instead of waiting for things to happen to react to, I started responding to things before it got there. And what does that mean? That means that if you have an issue on the table, okay, that is there, you can do one of two things. You can either wait until that thing flares up and then you react to it and then it screws the rest of the day up or the week. Or you can take a look at it now and respond by doing something about it in a positive way. And a lot of times, if you can get yourself to go from reacting to responding, you're going to find that everything flows a lot better. Your day will be a lot better. And you're not going off into the left field. Prime example. Your day is going good so far. You've done your reset in the morning. You've had your cup of coffee. You've talked to your employees about what you want to get accomplished for the day. And that first customer comes in and is irate and pissed because his lawnmower broke after just 3 days of using it, after it left the shop. All right? So you can react and get mad at the employees for not doing their job. Get mad at yourself for not letting it slide. You can get mad at the customer because you go out and you find out that it was a self-inflicted wound where they hit something with it. Or you can just stay in the moment, let the customer go off, do whatever, listen to them. But that's where that ends. You respond back to the customer in a way of letting them come down a little bit, but not letting you elevate. If you respond to those issues before it happens, then you're not reactionary. Now you can let that customer ruin your whole day, okay? And it's not hard to do. I mean, even at my ripe old age of 63, I still have days where it will just throw me off into left field. So you're never going to be immune to it. But the better way is to practice responding to certain things before it gets to the point of where you're reacting to it. Now, responding would be, okay, what can we do that would have a better checklist before the stuff leaves the shop? Well, if it's not anything that the shop missed, it's something that the owner had done by hitting maybe a pipe in the yard or whatever, you respond to the customer in a way to say, look, let's get your machine in. Let's get a look at it. And then once you get it up on the lawnmower hoist and you see the blade is bent right over, you motion to the customer to come out, show him the blade, and tell him, what did you hit? And I'll be honest, most customers will not admit that they hit anything, even though they got a blade on one of their, underneath their deck that's in the U shape, all right? That's responding. You're not going after an employee thinking they missed something. You're not going after yourself for feeling like you failed as a business owner, a shop, so forth. You're taking a more direct approach and you're looking at the actual situation before you react. You get all your information in to go with. If you don't have all the information to make a reasonable decision, then you're going to make screw-ups, right? So by bringing that machine in, putting it up on the hoist, simply looking at the blade, seeing the blade was bent, showing the customer, saying, it's a simple fix. I've got a set of blades here. I can just put one on that mower. We can pop that one off, put the new one on, and you'll be off and going. This had nothing to do with your service. It had everything to do with something that you possibly may have hit, or your wife, or your kid, or your dog mowing the yard. I don't know. But that's where it ends. It doesn't sit there and fester all day long. And if you're not doing resets, what happens? It'll fester all day, tomorrow, the next, and the next. And what's the end result? You just made for a sucky week over something that you had no control over. Customer comes in and complains about a bill. I would say 98% of the time, if I have a customer that is questioning the bill, if I just take the bill and lay it on the table and then go item by item with them and talk to them about it, it solves everything. Now, you could react and become, like self-conscious or feel like somebody is chinking your armor because they've asked about why the cost is so high. You can react or you can respond. And that is simply saying, we ran into problems. Here is what happened. And actually, on the bill, you'll find that I have 2 hours labor. We spent 5 to 6 on that. But I didn't feel comfortable charging you for them. So I only charged you the 2 hours. If you can talk with the customer, talk their way through, you're responding to the situation instead of reacting. Reacting, you could, how dare somebody question the bill, or they're questioning my, whether I'm being honest or not honest, and it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with maybe the customer a little tight on money and just wondering why it costs so much. And I've seen some customers come in and think $125 costs too much. And it does. Money, everything is expensive nowadays. And everybody's kind of pulling back. Your groceries have gone up, cost of living has gone up, everything is going up around you. And you're trying to control what you can't control. If that makes any sense. See, one thing that I've learned since my heart surgery and stuff, and the cognitive stuff that goes on in my head, which I'm not even going to go into it, of stuff flows in and out so quick that I can't even retain it and stuff like that. But one of the things that I've learned to do is when my life feels like it's out of control. And out of control means there's a number of things going on that there's nothing I can do about it. And it starts festering, it starts bothering me. And instead of letting it go, it keeps getting worse. And then it gets to the point of where The only thing I can do to get the world back where it's manageable to me is to do small tasks. Small tasks that are achievable, where I can see where made some progress. And I'm trying to think if I even said something about this on the other video, but my son and his brother-in-law, they're basically both my sons. The other one's been here since he was 12 years old, hunting with us and stuff. He's family. Okay? I explained to them that I had other things to do to just go hunt. And they wanted me to hunt with them. So they thought if I gave them a list of things that I had on my plate that I wanted to get done, they could knock it out in a hurry because they're half my age or young, and that way I could go hunt. And I couldn't explain it to them. I said, what you can do is, I can't start the wood splitter. I tried 7-8 pulls and I can't get it to start. It won't go fast enough. It was cold trying to start it. And so I says, son says, well, then let's go down. We'll get it started. We'll get all that wood split, and then you can go hunt with us. That's not what I was trying to accomplish. See, having to split that wood was not top priority. But what it was, for me anyways, because of the way my mind functions, is it was something that I felt like I had some control over. I didn't, because when I tried to start it, it wouldn't start, right? So I crank, and I can't pull it fast enough. So there's one more thing out of my control. I can't get it started. So my son and the two boys went down, and he got it started on the third pull. But he's pretty muscular, and he says, okay, so let's get the wood split. And I said, no. I'm going to take you guys back up. You guys go hunting. I'm going to split wood. And why was it that I wanted to split wood? It was because I knew that if I was splitting the wood, I had some control over what was the process. I was picking up a block of wood, I was putting it on the splitter, splitting it, and I could see it was achievable. The pile that was split was gradually getting bigger as the pile that needed to be split was going down. Does that make any sense? Probably not, unless you have, brain injury. That's kind of like reacting and responding. Is you can react to every situation that comes up in your life, or you can respond to them and understand that it's not your life is out of control. It may be just a certain part is beyond your control. I said yesterday in a Facebook post that, a lot of people have a persona. And what's a persona? A persona is what we put out there that we want the public to see. And you may run into somebody that looks like they have it all together, a great package, right? But what you don't realize is there's turmoil within. You don't understand what's going on in somebody else's life. And I've told people for years, do not compare yourself to others. And why do you not compare yourself to others? Because you don't know what is really going on. You're seeing that persona. One of the things that I tried to do, and I've been working on it pretty good for the past year, is to develop a persona so that my kids, my family, my friends, you guys, so everybody isn't worried from day to day to day, right? And if my family is worried, they keep bringing it up, it's like throwing it in my face, where I have to look at it instead of just enjoying whatever's going on that day. I live with an illness. My illness is not me. I don't let it define me. I don't let it control me. And if anything, my cardiologist, my primary, my kids, my family, all say you're doing too much. You need to slow down. Not a chance. If I'm going to go out, this bugger's going to go out with a bang, right? I'm going to go out getting some enjoyment out of life. I figured out that life is too short and that you really need to get that concept of there's no guarantee that you're going to wake up tomorrow or that you're going to make it through today. What would you be doing today if you found out that today was your last day on earth? Other than maxing out your credit cards and throwing wild parties. My luck, I maxed out my credit cards. I was just talking about this to Claude the other day. I said, thank goodness that when I had my quadruple heart bypass, I didn't max out every credit card thinking I was on death row, and then my luck, I'd survive. And I did, so I'd have been paying for it. If you can get yourself to get away from reacting to situations, and I'm not saying that it's going to be 100% foolproof, that you're not going to react at one point in time or another, but if you're aware of it, if you're aware of the fact that if you respond to something, you get a lot better comeback, turnaround, however you want to look at it, than you would if you reacted. A lot of times, if you're reacting on instinct. Where if you're responding, you're listening and explaining back. If you haven't got any reason to be defensive, why are you defensive reacting? If somebody questions the bill, it's not the end of the world. They're not questioning you, your honesty, the shop, the employees, and everything on earth. They're just talking about their friggin' bill. And if you respond, and that is just simply explaining everything out, most of my customers don't even want to have an explanation. But I've got one, and I'd be more than happy to share it with them. And them questioning the bill is not questioning my integrity. It's them questioning the bill. And it would be no different than me questioning an automotive bill, that where my vehicle went in for something. What is this? What is this? If the shop reacts and starts getting defensive, that starts to make me wonder, are they honest? Whereas if the shop service manager said, Eric, come over here, let me just go right down through the list. What is the better response? If the service manager says, Eric, come over and we'll go through this, that's responding. If the service manager says it is what it is and get your ass out of here, pay the bill, and then we'll give you your keys and get out of here, what is the better way to do it? And that goes in your home life, your personal life, your business life, everything. Stop reacting. Reacting doesn't get you where you need to be. I react less now than I did back in my 20s. I was very reactionable. Even into my 30s. My son is in his 40s and he reacts too much instead of responding. Everything is like, if somebody questions anything, he goes off the deep end by reacting. It's like you're questioning his integrity. And it's not even remotely close. In the comments, I know most of you are older, so that you're responding more than you reacted years ago. But some of you younger guys, chime in here. Are you reacting or are you responding to customers and to the people and even your significant others and your kids? Responding instead of reacting to will get you a lot farther and a lot better life. So on that note, you guys enjoy your Thursday. Put in the comments. I'm curious to know, how do you approach things? Do you react and then respond? Or do you just stop, listen, and respond? Because my tendency is probably 90% of the time, I stop, I listen, and then I respond. I don't react to whatever is being said because I know that with people, personas, and everything like that, that a lot of times if you have a customer that is unhappy about a bill, it could be about, something that happened where their kid got sent to the principal's office and they got called into had to leave work and this and that. It's a whole different group of issues for that customer that they're just bringing and adding on to when they get to us. On that note, you guys enjoy your Thursday.